Hi, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to Snatch. The world's a bit crazy right now, okay? I was wondering whether I wanted to spend this week doing a drag race recap, but I think I probably will because I think art does help to relieve some stress. So, if I do help to relieve some of your burden and give you some levity through this week, stay tuned. All right. So I will be talking about Drag Race, Pangina's elimination, which I still can't get over, and of course the girl group challenge on RuPaul's Drag Race season 14. All right. And I'm gonna do a Bosco look
Bosco.
today. Okay, because I really love her. I think she's headed for the top. So hair horns it is, and Bosco brows. Alright, so I'm gonna go straight into Drag Race UK versus the World, okay, and start on my primer. Let's try to finish up this Tasha. Alright, okay, so Pangina went home. I was so upset for 2 days. I mean, it is a game. They all know the stakes. I mean, Pangina did send home a really strong competitor last week, Jimbo, and the first week also. And I think all bets are off. And I think these non-US queens are a lot less diplomatic with their eliminations. Okay, in a regular All-Star season, until Naomi Smalls eliminated Milena Luzon, everyone was kind of like playing it safe and always looked at track record and everything. And here they're really eliminating the biggest competition. Whoever's left has just been safe constantly. It's not really a very exciting competition anymore. Okay, the front runners are all gone. Okay, and yeah, I think Pangina played the game a little bit too hard and was a little bit harsh. I mean, she did mention in this episode that she got death threats for being too mean on Drag Race Thailand. So she probably was a little bit harsh and quite cutthroat in her eliminations. I'm still wondering whether she eliminated Lemon the first episode, whether that was deserved, because she probably looked at all their wardrobes and probably saw Lemon had an amazing wardrobe. Okay, Lemon's polka dot look was so cool. Okay, and yeah, so I think she was playing it very strategically, and I think that's probably why Blue took her out, because she knew that if Pangina survived this week, she probably would have won the whole thing. But anyway, that's water under the bridge. Blue hydrangea had the balls, and Blue has been edited to be a little bit ballsy this season. Okay, she confronted Monique in the first episode about her ignoring her years ago. She tried to get into Jimbo's head, calling his lip sync hokey pokey. I think Blue Hydrangea really came in thinking, I'm gonna do everything to, either be the villain or get screen time or stuff like that. Okay, but I don't think she commits to it. Look at her when she eliminated Pangina. She's shaking in there. She's shaking and her lips are quivering. She's really trying it, little girl. Okay, going straight into the foundation, but let's just get rid of the shirt. Okay, so UK versus the World, the Snatch Game Family Edition is the family feud version of Snatch Game. They're really trying to spice up Snatch Game with all these different game show formats. I'm not sure whether this format worked as well as a normal Snatch Game. Normal Snatch Game, I think, is the best. Pangina comes in and has to read Jimbo's shady mirror message. I thought that was quite funny. It's 2W. Try to contour it a little bit more. Use 7W this time. Oh wow, that's dark. Okay, and I'm going to blend it in with AOA. Okay, and here they start the whole edit of the whole episode. The editing of this episode was really stressful, okay, because they start off here showing Bagger wanting to avenge Jimbo by sending Pangina home, okay, and he's really pissed off that Pangina sent Jimbo home. It seemed like they were trying to set up Bagger winning Snatch Game and sending Pangina home, and we all know that Bagger is really good at Snatch Game, so that was what I was expecting the whole time, okay, and hoping that Bagger would, not do well for Snatch Game. Oh, this is a bit yellow. Okay, never mind. Let's just keep going. This AOA is a natural beige. A bit yellower than my normal skin tone, but that's fine. They did show that this time, Janie did pick Jujubee's lipstick. And Jujubee is really not bringing it this season. Even this episode, her runway was terrible. Okay, I'm going for a very boudoir burlesque look today. Gotta lighten this up a little bit. Yeah, the editing is also quite shady. That kept showing, Pangina looking really confident, patting herself on the back, and saying that she's not going home this week. So, really shady, all the way up to the end when, a horrible scene where they kept playing Pangina crying off stage. So it was so horrible, this editing this episode. lighten all that up with let's try going back to this Makeup Forever Y225. Okay, and because Pangina won last week's challenge, she gets to pick her own team, and she picks Bagga and Jujubee to be on the team. Okay, probably because they were the two of the best Snatch Game records. Okay, and that actually backfired because, you know, sitting in between them probably just made her look a lot weaker. Pangina chose Mariah Carey, and she does Mariah Carey all the time. I've actually seen her do her Mariah Carey impression when she performed here at one of the clubs in Singapore. And she looks just like her. She has all the mannerisms right, but you know, she usually does these performances as lip syncs and everything. So she doesn't really, you know, have to banter or make it a Snatch Game, which is a whole different kettle of fish. I mean, as we saw in this Snatch Game, the most important thing is to make Rue laugh. You don't even have to do a great impression. Like Jujubee did a pretty corny and messy share, which got her safe. There are actually quite a lot of ways you can do Snatch Game. One is you can make the character really, really, really dirty. Okay, so that is something that maybe Jenny Jacquet should have done. Instead of doing all these safe PC jokes for James Charles, she could have just made him a complete or something. But that would have been touchy, and I think she didn't dare to go there. Let's try to contour this nose a slightly different way. Okay, so I'm actually darken it up, and then I'll do a white line down the middle. First, let's sketch out those Bosco brows. Bosco! Bosco!
Bosco!
I'm going to try to go for one of her hair horn Betty Page looks. So I'm going to have bangs, and I'm going to make the brow a lot lower. I've noticed that Bosco draws her brow actually quite low, okay? My brow usually starts somewhere like there, whereas Bosco's is right there at the bottom of the brow. And it doesn't go very high, okay? It doesn't go very high, and then it has its spike somewhere there. And it's not super arched either. Now I'm just going to clean up everything with my white, clown white. Okay, yeah, so Snatch Game. What else do I have to say about Snatch Game? Yeah, so Pan's Mariah Carey, she did start off strong, okay? She had that joke about the lambs, cooking the lambs, but it kind of fizzled out after that. She didn't have very much more to banter with. Just a couple of I don't know hers here and there, which was kind of expected. I'll try using my finger to keep this highlight in place. You know, sometimes the finger's the best blending tool. Bagga Chips did Kathy Bates in Misery, did the character for Misery. They're being a bit more lenient with this whole copyright thing, because now, you know, previously I don't think she would have been able to do the character, but she did Kathy Bates as a stalker obsessed with RuPaul. Actually did quite well, okay? She did all the references. It was almost like what Alyssa Edwards did for the Mommy Dearest, right? Where she basically did Joan Crawford for the Snatch Game, but just did all the lines from the movies. But this one, she had a bit of a story going on there. So I think she actually did pretty well compared to everyone else. I'm gonna set this all quickly off camera, and I'll be right back to talk about the rest of Snatch Game. Alright, I'm back, powdered, and I've deepened up those brows. Very Bosco-y. Okay, so I'm going to go in with a very Violet Chachki-esque kind of eye, okay? I think Bosco is a little bit like a Violet Chachki meets Sasha Velour, okay? I think I misjudged her from the Meet the Queens. I mean, she called herself another white twink with a unique brow, but she's become so much more than that. She is really smart, okay? I really love her commentaries, and the way she talked about Folsom Street Fair last time, and how she put off all the references for the soap opera challenge, and even this week, she was, you know, when she sang, you could tell that she really has it, okay? I think Bosco is one of my favorite queens this season now. Okay, so I'm going to do that. So where was I for Snatch Game? Yeah, for UK versus the World, yeah, did you notice that the editing up for Snatch Game was really bad too? I mean, we definitely saw a really shady edit for Pangina, okay? Every time she gave an answer, they cut to Michelle Visage giving this, like, dead face, okay? It was just really quite obvious the way they edited Pangina that she was in the bottom. Okay, so I'm gonna do blue, I think, quite classic Violet Chachki, and I think it will look quite nice. I'm gonna go for quite a low crease. I've already talked about Jujubee, okay, her share was obviously a parody of a share. I listened to this podcast and they say basically it's like she was pretending to be Delta Work, pretending to be Chad Michaels, pretending to be Cher, which is quite accurate, okay. But I thought she was actually quite funny. She had some iconic lines, okay. Her charcuterie line was really good. Okay, so Jujubee did quite well in the Snatch game, but pretty lousy for her runway also this week, I'm afraid. Okay, Jade Thirlwell, Blue. I've gone through Jenny Jacquet. Blue Hydrangea was smart, okay? She picked a recognizable character, managed to change halfway from, Austin Powers to Dr. Evil, and made Rue laugh, okay? And she leaned into all the dirty jokes, but that wasn't very much of a stretch from Austin Powers, but I think it was quite a smart character choice. Monique Heart was going to be Gordon Ramsay, which I would have liked to see, but I think Rue knew that you're probably going to go home if you did Gordon Ramsay, so I want to keep you around a little longer. Why didn't you do Billy Porter? Basically, it's her own character. So I think she was quite smart to change. I'm going to go into the darker blue Celestial to deepen up that crease. I think definitely it was quite clear that the top were Blue and Bagger. During the makeup moments here, they bring up cancel culture. Okay, and it was quite interesting seeing all the different perspectives here. Blue, in another very shady edit, decides to say that she's very, careful of what she says because of a huge following, and she doesn't dare to do anything bad or anything. Of course, that turns around at the end of the episode where she eliminates Pangina. Okay, which she knows she'll get blowback from. There's this whole thing about, are drag queens really the bastion of LGBT morality, and should we, use our voice to uplift people? I think different drag queens have different goals. Definitely, that's something I believe, that LGBT visibility is very important, and drag queens definitely contribute to that, and they should, use that platform to talk about serious things. But some drag queens don't really want to do that, and that's fine too, As long as there are a lot of us out there and a lot of LGBT out there having different perspectives, that's what counts. And yeah, of course, when you see a comedian, controversial takes and controversial opinions do help to push the conversation, and that's something that shouldn't be cancelled. The only problem is when you have a huge platform and you have things taken out of context and everything, it can easily offend people. So you need to be very careful and think about where your message is going. Okay, if you're making dirty jokes in a basement of a club somewhere that is not going to be televised on Netflix, fine. I mean, all bets are off and you should be able to, talk about anything you want. But of course, try to have a point. So that's going to be the blue crease. I'm going to cut that crease now. Let's try the Suva Beauty Prime and Paint. It's white. P. Louise brush. Monique Heart does come in at the end, saying, having a very valid opinion that, LGBT people, trans people, fat people have been the butt of the jokes for so long. And we really have to ask ourselves, is it really funny? Okay, is it really funny, or is it just an easy target? I mean, if you are really a comedian, you should be able to come up with jokes for any occasion, and you don't have to punch down. Primer is a little bit patchy. Okay, and now is the runway. The runway is Luck Be a Lady. Blue looks great. Okay, she's doing this elevated leprechaun look. She looks so stunning. This Wigs & Co wig is so nice. It's got this hair basket weave thing, which is really, really cool. And it's a very rich green color with these black and gold cards all over. So I think she knew people were going to do stuff like cards and leprechauns and everything, and she really made it her own. Jenny Jacquet looks like this producer's kind of showgirl with a big roulette on the back. The only thing is that when you look really close, you can see the zip ties all around, holding the front and the back of the roulette wheel together. When they zoomed in on her, that was really obvious. And the dress was a little bit simple. It was just a dress with a nice side-swept hair and casino chips all the way around. Jujubee was supposed to be a Neko cat. Terrible. Her wig was so horrible. When you tease wigs and everything, it kind of fluffs out. And on the stage, you could see the light. You could see how poorly fluffed out the wig was on the periphery. I did not like that at all. Her Snatch game was pretty okay, so I guess that kind of saved her. But she really did pretty badly this week. AOA. Monique Heart shut it down, okay, coming out as the Flamingo Casino itself with all the lights. She really spent a lot on her outfits, I think. Maybe she absorbed Jujubee's budget. There's this rumor going around that the queens actually got $10,000 each for the outfits, which I'm not sure where that came from, but I heard it repeated a couple of times. If that's true, then Jujubee must have just kept that as a prize money. Pangina Heels comes out as a jackpot machine. This is quite good, and you know, although Shell said that didn't look costumey, I thought it did look a bit costumey. It would have been nicer if she had a dress and had the whole jackpot built into the dress itself. That would have been super fun. And the whole gag of the coins coming out, that would have been really, really fun. I'm pretty sure there's someone in Thailand who could do that. Oh yeah, and then Bagger Chips has this quite a basic leprechaun hair, but the wig's really nice, okay? The wig game in UK is quite good. They've got a lot of really good wig makers. Everyone from Carl Brown Hair to Natalie Morton to Wigs & Co. to Webster Wigs. There are a lot of really good wigs in the UK. But this was pretty basic, okay, and the makeup is quite boring. Yeah, Pangina's makeup, another thing about Pangina's makeup, she does a lot of gold on her brows. You can see in the workroom that her brow cover is a little bit crunchy, and I'm wondering whether all this gold is just there to hide it because she can't cover her brows properly. Okay, she always packs on like gold on over the brow area. During the deliberations, you can see that when Bagger was getting really good critiques, Pangina looked so sad. Pangina looks like her fate was sealed if Bagger won. This carries over to the deliberations in Untut. Blue promises that she will not pick Pangina's lipstick. So Pangina, apparently, according to one of the exit interviews, was rooting for Blue all the way. Sneaky, sneaky Blue. I'm going to the under eye now. Blue and Bagger win. They lip sync to... I don't even know what they lip sync to. I don't even know who these guest judges are, actually. I thought Bagger looked terrible. It looked like she wasn't even trying to win the lip sync. She was so messy. Her splits and her everything was so messy and not great, okay? So, you know, this is kind of like spoiled to me on social media because people were commenting on my Instagram posts and everything saying that Pangina's not going to win. So I kind of thought that, okay, Pangina might be going home soon. And during the projection of this whole thing, I thought it was going to be this episode and I thought Bagger would send her home. And, you know, I wouldn't have minded if Bagger sent home because that was where the edit was going. And Bagger had this thing about Jimbo and all that stuff. But when Blue won the lip sync and sent Pangina home, I was really, really shocked. And that was, I guess, what they wanted. Didn't feel right, okay? Blue was quite hedgy about it. Pangina was so distraught, okay? She was crying all the way to the back. They even showed her crying while Rue was doing her everybody say love nonsense, okay? And even her exit interview, her makeup was all messed up, okay? No one's ever looked so bad during the exit interview, and it was so sad, okay? I think she probably does go into this robbed queen territory. All right, enough about UK versus the world. I'm gonna clean up my eyes a little bit, and I'll be right back to talk about Season 14, the girl group bit, alright? Just filled in the eyes a little bit. Now I'm just going to go into the contour to make this look a little bit less stark. Okay, so Season 14, Episode 8. This is the girl group challenge. They usually do a lot of girl groups on Drag Race UK, but this is the first time they're doing like these 60s girl groups, okay, which are really Rue's wheelhouse, okay? The Supremes and everything is something that Rue has always looked up to. And one of his inspirations, of course, Diana Ross and all that. I thought it was quite a good challenge. Since no one went home last week, there's still 9 girls, and that's probably why they kept them, because they did 3-3-3. Oh, and they had the reading challenge. I thought this reading challenge was quite good. Bosco won, and Bosco did have this very funny one at the end where she was talking about RuPaul's will. That was a nice fake out. Although a lot of the jokes aren't super original, I thought they did a pretty good job. Okay, the fake out the one at the RuPaul's will and all the drag queens as a pallbearer so they can let her down one more time on the runway. They were quite good. What else? I thought Angera had a pretty good read for Diabetes when she called her America's Next Crystal Method. And of course, there's this sponsorship with this Sweet Tarts thing. I don't think Ru was very convinced when she announced the sponsorship and everyone getting free Sweet Tarts. I need to highlight a bit with my taco. Now they're doing the girl groups, and they had to pick their own teams. And here Diabetes is not letting go. Okay, I think she's got this newfound confidence. She's not going to compromise, and neither is Willow Pill. And this kind of worked out for them because I think they did have the best song, the Bad Boy song by the Shangri-Las. A lot of this episode was watching them record and choreograph. It's almost never what it seems because, you know, they can do so much with the edit. I mean, they showed Georges not being able to sing a lick. Okay, but in the end, she did speak, sing everything. And it kind of like worked because that was what these girl groups did at the time too. So it didn't make that much difference. And, you know, maybe they were just trying to get her, why don't you try singing it instead of speaking it when it was supposed to be spoken the whole time? And then they just showed all that shady bits. Yeah, but they do show Carrie struggling, okay, not being able to find the note and trying to sing a different style, this gospel style, rather than the 60s girl group style. So this was really telegraphed that she was probably going to go home. Okay, yeah, and Bosco, as I said, was really funny. She had great verses and she could act the song, and I think she did very well. And during choreo, Willow, she's really playing the game quite well, and she's holding her cards really close to her chest and not letting the girls know about her secret abilities. I think she's really going to go all the way to the top. Her runways have been amazing as well. Today, I'm going to my KVD Snapdragon. When they showed the finished product, I think everyone actually did pretty well. The first group was definitely the best, very funny, they're very tongue-in-cheek. Diabetes stole the show, okay, the wigs were quite good too, and Willow Pill's dancing, okay, her little raggy thing was quite fun. The second group was, I was trying to put my finger on what was wrong, but in the pit stop they said none of them were wearing earrings. Okay, they just pulled back hair, and George's the beehive was a little bit lopsided and it's so bulky in the back. Okay, and they weren't wearing any earrings. They looked pretty stark, and the lyrics were quite run-of-the-mill and quite boring. Nothing to shout out about. And for the third group, the Rupremes, okay, Lady Camden had to choreograph two black people who couldn't dance. And, you know, they're doing all these flowy things, and it pretty worked out because they had this very flowy outfit and it looked quite nice on them. It's just that Carrie seemed to be doing something completely different from everyone by doing kind of like this really manic kind of dance, which I think definitely put her in the bottom. Lips. I think a red lip, but with a black border, I think. I kind of like that look. The runway this time is heart on. Okay, hearts on the runway. I already did a heart look, so no heart look for me today. But I thought it was okay. Some of them weren't really good. Willow Pill's definitely quite cute. Okay, this gown made completely of panties and thongs with a heart motif. Very clever. I thought Betty looked really pretty with her bald cap underneath and this side pink hair. A little bit Jeffree Star, but also what she wore in the promo. Bosco was this vampiric burlesque thing with her Gary Oldman hair and of course eating the heart. A little bit like Max's runway in season 7. Deja was this kind of a ill-fitting latex anime suit, which did not look very good, but the judges liked it. Ooh, once the lips comes on, everything changes. Georges, she's in bra and panties again, but with this thing, hard ostrich feathers in the back. She has quite a lot of ostrich feathers, this Georges. Kind of getting the pass, a lot of pass actually, for wearing almost nothing on the runway. But that's kind of what they did for Plastic Tiara, you know, in season 11 as well. They kind of loved everything she came out in. Okay, this is definitely more Violet Chachki than Bosco, but what I would have done, there's this heart dress at the Met. Who's it by? There's this heart dress at the Met that I would have done. It's a bit like what Sister wore for Drag Race UK season 2. Okay, it's basically this big furry heart that just comes out like that. And I think it was donated by a Singaporean. Jasmine Kennedy does this kind of a Grecian thing, which I think we've already seen a couple of times on this runway. I think Deja Sky did something like that for her construction challenge, so pretty lackluster. And Jerry Paris Van Michaels comes out in this mod 60s thing, which she obviously just stitched on this I Heart You in the middle. It looks so poorly done. But this hair is cute though. It looked a bit like what Nina West wore at one point. I'm just trying to figure out the physics of how it works. Kerry Colby comes out, of course, trying this different lips, a scary Kerry lips again. Very dark eyes, this netting, this kind of a PVC netting with a heart on the right side, which is on the wrong side. And, you know, apparently in Roscoe's, she said she couldn't find her cincher, so she just went on unfinished. And that's what she was red for, because you could see her stockings and her tights and everything. Whereas she actually had a cincher for this, but she couldn't find it. And Lady Camden comes in with this oversized Cupid thing, which was a little bit, I agree, was a little bit too big. Would have been nice. It's a bit like Aquarius, shot through the heart with the thing. This is a little bit more messy. So in the bottom were Jasmine Candy and Kerry Colby, and quite sad because Jasmine Candy just came out last episode and cited Kerry Colby as an inspiration, and it was quite an emotional lip sync and elimination as well. Oh, and here when RuPaul eliminates Kerry Colby, do you notice that when they're talking about the super chocolate bar thing, she says, all season you've been hiding your candy. Now let's see what you got. Okay, it's hiding your candy is a connotation about tucking your penis or something, but he doesn't say it for the trans queens. Okay, which I think is I think is pretty good. Okay, so that was Drag Race season 14. I think I'm almost done. Just gonna set this, do some highlights, fill in my nostrils, and I'll be back with the finished look. Alright, and this is the finished look. My boudoir Betty Page look. Can't see my Bosco brow, so in the end it's pretty much a Betty Page Violet Chachki look. I think I need a beauty mark right there. Yes, that makes a huge difference. But one more here. No, one is enough. Okay, and that was my review of Drag Race UK versus the World. Very sad to see Pangina go, but that's the game. She is touring America, so if she's coming to a town near you, please go and see her. And over on Drag Race Season 14, Willow Pill and Jared and Diabetes are really winning the game, okay? So I think one of them is going to win. Who do you think is going to win? I'm going to do a few TikToks now. Go and follow me over on TikTok if you're going to see the entire outfit, okay? And I'll see you next time. Bye. Diaphanous. I've got this knockoff Catherine Delish, which Bosco also wore on the runway. Wundersnachten Boudoir. Very, very classic one. Snatch. I actually noticed a lot of Bosco looks are very classic one. Snatch. Her polka dot look really looked like mine last week too. Alright, TikTok time. Don't forget to check out my other videos. I did a Pangina heels look here, and also I turned myself into a polka dot vintage Wonder Snatch right there. Alright, I'll see you next time. Bye.